So Cain Velasquez, a former WWE superstar, former UFC heavyweight champion, one of the best, has been transferred to Wasco State Prison. I apologize. That's somewhere in California, I think, and will be eligible for parole in March 2026. The judicial system, man. Shout out Cain, man. Free Cain. Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
So Josh Barnett reveals conversations with William Regal about competing at GCW Bloodsport. And he says, you think I haven't had conversations with William Regal about if you should feel spry, you know? I say the ball is in his court. He should go and ref a match. Ooh, Josh, hire me. Big fan. Big fan. No, I'm totally teasing, but listen, I'm a huge Josh Barnett mark. I've marked out about him on the show before. We don't need to get into all that. Big Regal fan. As a kid, I was so enthralled in just like the story. I never really thought about this guy should be champion, but Regal was the one guy where when I played SmackDown, Shut Your Mouth, or whatever the games are, right? I'd pick Regal because I was always like, he should have been the world champ and had like a run with the title where he was just like almost the JBL run, you know, that sort of thing. But like the British version or the English version, you know? And yeah, I always loved the brass knucks gimmick, man. That was so good. And when he'd have matches like it's under the Queensberry rules, and then he like switched the rules up in mid-match. I loved all that stuff. Regal was the guy. But anyways, Josh Barnett says, I say the ball is in his court, not as like a challenge or anything like that. It's just he's the boss here. If he tells me it's time, done. If he says, hey, I'm better off spectating, done. Whatever he wants, he's correct. That's the way I see it. Yeah. And I want to see Regal. He should ref a match or do commentary or something like that. Corner someone, maybe corner his kid. R.I.P. Kev Castle with us always. We're keeping that here. Linda McMahon files a motion to dismiss the Ring Boy lawsuit. Isn't she in the government now?
What?
God damn it, pal. Tammy Sitch ordered to pay $5 million dun, 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 in a DUI lawsuit settlement. So they gave a settlement, and I guess she doesn't have to go to prison any longer or whatever, but she's got to pay $5 million. I know where she can get $5 million. Yeah, I got $5 million real quick for you, but I won't actually give you. But it'll actually only be 2. I'm gonna keep 3 just for the kitten. I'll trade you a kitten for $3 million. Yeah. I'm not trying to be insensitive, but it's like it's pretty wild. Soraya says, I would like to get back in the ring this year and really train and find myself again. I feel like I didn't do that the past couple of years. I want to do the training side of things. I want to go to Natty's training school and get in the ring with her. That's my focus this year. I didn't get to do a Royal Rumble or Elimination Chamber, anything I didn't get to do. Maybe down the line I will get to do them. Who knows? Mass Exodus 2025.
Yeah.
Phil Marks told you, and we feel so alive. Yeah. I bet she can get cleared to do a Rumble and get knocked out of the ring or whatever real quick, or just lay in the corner and then eliminate someone and then get thrown over like onto people really safely. I guarantee she could make that work, and they'd clear for it. They were going to let Danielson wrestle even though he wasn't allowed to. They let Edge wrestle even though he wasn't allowed to. Yeah, medical science has advanced greatly, and as long as she's safe about it and doesn't get in there with Monet, who gives her a stinger again, we're all good. Denise Salcedo says that her time at the Wrestling Observer Figure 4 has come to an end. Well, you know, business is booming, Brian. She leaves, just so everyone knows, $17.99.
The best guy's Tony Khan.
That would be so funny. I hope that happens. No. So she says, this is one of my first major jobs in pro wrestling. I will forever be thankful to all the awesome opportunities and all the work, etc. Thank you first and foremost to Anthony, Brian Alvarez, Meltzer, BR26, Josh Nason. Thank you to everyone who checked out any of my videos and all the new viewers I connected with. I'm now officially working on my YouTube channel full time. I mean, I have been for years, but I was working so many extra jobs. Yeah, I feel that, girl. Listen, Denise Salcedo far superior doing her own thing for sure. So she moved off from Fightful and from Wrestling Observer, doing her own thing. Shout her out, and yeah, keep killing it. So Perry Saturn tells us why Bret Hart is the man. Let's listen to Perry Saturn tell a story about Bret Hart in the WCW days not being a mark for himself.
Tell you what kind of good guy Bret Hart is. It's his first day in WCW, and I'm walking in the building with him. We're talking. And in WCW, the superstar guys like Hulk Hogan, they had their own private dressing room. So we're walking down the hallway, and then we get to a dressing room, and there's a sign on the door that says Bret Hart. He goes, "What is this?" And I go, "Oh, that's your dressing room." He goes, "Come on, get the fuck." I go, "No, that's your dressing room." I go, "We'll be down here. Hogan's over there." Bret looked, he tore the sign off the wall, went and told Eric.
"Well, I got to dress by myself, brother. Well, let me tell you something, dude. I don't need anyone seeing Terry Bollea's penis. Hulk Hogan's penis is 12 inches long, brother. But Terry Bollea's, Jack, is only a solid 5.5, dude.
You know, don't ever do that to me again. I dress with the boys." You know, Bret Hart,
It's an average size, brother,
was down to earth and just, you know, and you know, if you work with him, he is going to bust his ass and everything, you know. That was really good. Tell you what kind of good guy Bret Hart is.
All right, shout out the GOAT, man. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to see some sickos, some real sick bastards in the chat, because it is time for our Sicko Segment. And we start off our Sicko Segment with our latest fool here.
You just made the list.
Okay, Suit Williams, who, if he wasn't before, he's now, this is an invisible list, folks, okay? It's just jokes. But Suit says, Marv Movie Monster screen grabs him or finds the screen grab on X and says that evil WWE trying to co-opt WrestleMania weekend as if they started and own it. This is why I hate the IWC. And so Suit Williams had this to say about WWE. And he goes, WWE has fully co-opted Mania weekend. So WWE's co-opted their own what? What are they talking about? And it's like a different weekend too, but it's so funny. They co-opted it. Like it only exists because them, dude. Jesus Christ. So he goes, WWE has fully co-opted Mania weekend. The indies that were there to show their fans to curious audience are now, no, they don't go to show their fans to curious audiences or whatever dumb. That's the headcanon. That's the fantasy mark booking. All these sickos do all the time. No, that's not why they exist, right? Those indies exist around Mania because the promoters go, "Oh, I can make some money and there's a lot of people in town and I can maybe book some of them for cheap because they're in town anyways, or we can get maybe a double shot, or we can," you know what I mean? There's money to be made here, and there's all the fans are from around the world, and there's people who might go to night one, who might not go to night two, or who come into town for the vibes, and you know what I mean, but only go to the indie shows because they can't afford Mania itself, right? So it's like, no, they didn't co-opt. You are co-opting this to be supposed to be about the indies. Mania weekends, not about the indies, bro. With some exceptions teaming with WWE for clout, it's over, dog. And so the companies that are teaming with WWE, instead of Tony going, "I know, we'll run Ring of Honor the same night. We'll run it right at the same town the night before." That's what Tony's even done. So instead of them going, "Hey, we're just going to go slide in, wheeze off your juice," you know, "Hey, WWE's doing this thing over here. Let's go do this other thing and wheeze off their juice, dude. Take some of their sauce and put it in art and call it our own. We're going to work with them because that's the smart move to do. So we're going to work with WWE and be like, "Hey, we work with WWE. We're over here now." I'm not even I can't even do JD yet. Maybe, I'm sure he'll pop up here, but you know, so they're all co-opted and they're just doing that for clout instead of like, "Oh, we get more eyes on GCW and we get to use WWE people and put them in dream matches against other people from the indies in Japan and TNA and in Bloodsport." That's doing it for clout. Go tell Josh Barnett he's doing anything for clout. Idiots. Anyways, so BJ Bethel, BJ, no thanks, I'm full. Oh, Says WWE is working very hard to prevent AEW landing on Fox. Sam Shipman told me to counter. Well, at least he named a name. Round of applause, BJ, for naming a fuck. BJ, is that your name or is that like what you do? Oh, wow, maybe it works, but it can also backfire badly. This isn't 83, even if you're a McMahon. And then this guy, David Pulitzer Meltzer. Whoever that guy is, you better follow me. And then BJ, no thanks. We just met. Oh, I don't know how many of those I got. No source on that one, but I can go ask making an observation. But I can go ask. Jesus Christ. This is the clout thing. Oh, I can just go ask. It's so cringy. So JD says, I know people will say block the noise out, but I'm trying to get past some of the incredibly huge down parts of the last month that I have all but told two people. Incredibly huge down parts of the last month that I have all but told two people. And I will always defend myself when I'm feeling wronged. This is how people treat you, no matter how hard you try, and why I don't trust anyone over here. Shame on you, Miss Katefabe. I made comments in the past. It caused problems. I apologized personally, and we moved on. Never mentioned her since. Even promised Sap. Dude, you can't promise Sap stuff because then he thinks he controls you. And you get it? That's where you up, JD. Like, you don't go and be like, oh, I'm sorry for like having an opinion to these other people who have opinions, and then call you obsessed when you talk about their opinions, but then they get mad about other people's opinions. It's insanity, bro. Don't even engage with that. It's mental illness. But anyways, he goes, I made comments and come to find out she talked over on Blue Sky. Oh, yeah, that's all Blue Sky is. It's a bunch of mentally ill people who went, we don't like the opinions over here and the people talk over here, and we have to block them all, and we're in our own bubbles. But now Elon made it so we can't be in our own bubbles fully, but we're going to stay on X because we want to talk about what's on X, but we're just going to go do it over here where we can just gang up on anyone who, you know what I mean? Like, it's just our own little bubble over here. We're overhead now. First we were over there. Now we're overhead now. Oh, so it is what it is, man. But yeah, that's what they do. They are like, oh, we hate the negativity. Let's all just go talk on Blue Sky. That's all it was, right? So whatever. I beat that Bluebird to death as well. That Bluebird wannabe to death as well, I guess. Come to find out, she talked over there now, and on her protected account here, kicking me when I was down the last 2 weeks. Screenshot of my apology, her accepting my apology, and a message I wake up to today asking to leave her alone if she super chats my show. Leave who alone, Kate? I don't need your money, nor do I want it. Okay, that's weird and cringe. Yeah, leave me alone. Here's $5 to read my comment. Leave me alone. Why won't they leave me alone? Here's $5. Please read what I have to say in big red letters, in big green letters. Leave me alone. What the? This is what, don't even engage with the JD. And then JD's dropping DMs. You could have just said this and not posted the screen grabs of, you could have posted her talking, right? Like publicly behind her protected account. Oh, you could have just like did that. But then now it's like, ugh, all these people drop DMs. It's crazy. Don't DM people, folks. Jesus, right? Like, weird, man. It's crazy. The lengths this IWC goes to. And then you get outside of this bubble and it's like, man, it's better. But then you look at other communities, like go look at MMA fans. They're all like the dumbest fans are of the MMA fans ever. And then the IWC, the same thing. And then you do the pop culture stuff, the same thing, you know? So we got to just have a laugh at all this, but he calls her fake. So again, like JD waking up super late to the party. But he goes, I don't know. Are we gonna? Thanks for the reply back, Kate, and taking the time. I regret lumping you into any of the toxicity, but the effort will be there to maintain some peace. I know my riles people up. It's not for everyone. It's what I've created. Part of me loves the effect it has done on people because people react so passionately. And of course, you get the weirdos. In no way am I changing how I run my channel. It's successful because of it. But the pettiness is going to stop. The cheap shots will stop. Someone close to me tonight explained it. I'm baseball and Sean is soccer. Oh, two completely different sports. You get it? Capiche? Two different creators, two different ways, but room enough for everybody. Here's the problem is that, like, Sean is news, or he claims he's gossip. So I guess he's Perez Hilton. Okay. But Sean is like news, right? These reporters, these people who are like, we write like news articles and we'll give you the update. Our sources in WWE can confirm this. When you start doing that, you're the news. JD just talked. So there you go. There doesn't even need to be. Well, I mean, I guess that is what it is. I say y'all are CNN, I'm SNL. That's what I've said since day one, right? Or I say you over there and we're over here now. No, but JD's like, I'm basketball and you're cricket or whatever, I guess he said. But real life gets lost in all this. Sean explained what they did when his grandma passed. He knows what people did to me when my grandpa and most recently my Bacardi passed. Bacardi, what is that? Like a name from a cocktail? You get off the cocktail? The cannoli. Oh. But yeah, I mean, people don't attack people's dead relatives and pets. That's cringe. Here's what Kate, I think, had to say. I think because he's not showing the whole conversation. He's just like picking out certain things, so you don't know. That seems like a really fair middle ground. Definitely very different creators with different goals. Oh, I think this is her response. Very easy for real life to get lost in this space. Yeah. You guys take this way too serious, okay? If I send a super chat to your show, will you leave me alone then? I have you blocked. My account is locked. Please leave me alone. Oh, I get it. Oh, I get what she's saying. She's like making a sarcastic remark. Yeah, whatever, okay? Sicko Wars! Sicko Wars! Oh. So top 10 wrestling who just had me blocked, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna unsub from your channel. Sicko Wars. Petty Wars. No, I didn't unsub from his channel, by the way. I'll still watch his videos. But Raj Giri's like, Raw hits the highest ranking on Netflix since whatever. And then top 10 wrestling's like, what's the source? Trust me, bro. And then Raj is like, literally says in the post, per Netflix data. So these people are just have been unhinged lately, you know? Speedball Mike Bailey. Okay, sorry. So here's Neckbeards. Neckbeards is guy. So, okay, Neckbeards' fool is Follow the Revolution. So, I mean, again, this gentleman here, he's not on the fool's list, right? This is Neckbeard's bit, but we cover when Neckbeards, I pick out some of the funny ones when he covers this when he makes fun of this Follow the Revolution guy. I would love to hear them like have a debate back and forth because they're both just clearly trolls, you know? So like this Follow the Revolution guy can't be serious. And if he is, I don't know. He was like out front. He posted a post. We covered it on the show of him out front of the AEW show. Like, hey, I love to meet kids that are sickos. And he like took pictures with people's kids. And I'm not joking. Okay. And I'm not making this sound crazier. Like, look, here's one of them. Right. And so it's innocent enough. Like, I'm not saying, oh, this guy's a freak of nature. You know what I mean? But he made a post about it. Like, oh, I love meeting like kid sickos and we call ourselves sickos together. And he's like posted 2 or 3 pictures of him with like, I guess other people's kids that he's like, hey, can I take a picture with your kid or whatever? So I don't know. That's all I'm saying, bro. That if my friend was doing that, I'd check him. I'd be like, what the fuck are you doing, bro? You can't do that. You know, it's crazy. But anyways, this Follow the Revolution gentleman says, hot take, AEW's decision to release expensive veteran talent, including Miro and Malachi Black, in favor of signing younger talent with upside, such as Will Ospreay, Speedball Mike Bailey, and Sky Blue, is a strategic move that showcases Tony's focus on cultivating a talented young roster for years to come. Thoughts? I think that's just a lie. He just held on to them forever until these people's lawyers may or may not have started looking into contracts, and he may or may not have tripped up. Well, you know, you can't just pull people's merch off of your website because they're brothers in WWE. And, you know, I think that happened, and Tony went, oh, here we go. Just release all these people who are unhappy and just get goodwill. Soraya, sure, you're good. We'll pay you out till September, but you're free to do what you want. Or maybe she just went, I don't need to get here. You guys can buy me out of my deal for this much. We don't know. It's all private, but he's doing some stuff to get some goodwill back, which is you know, the good thing. If he was trying to build young talent, he would let someone smarter run Ring of Honor and turn it into like a developmental type system. He would have already been on top of like what WWE's doing with Evolve. He would have done that, and he would have like AEW ID'd people before and did my idea where, you know, Rampage wasn't a live show to try and compete with SmackDown. It's a show to showcase like indies and other feds that you're working with and talent who might come into the company one day, to AEW TV one day. He would have kept Dark and Dark Elevation, but he doesn't produce those because he can't. There's no like peeling off the top for WBD, and there's no way to. The YouTube numbers aren't good enough. You know, he'd bring Ant Evans to whip that YouTube into shape. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'm not done. I say it, man. Tony Khan, keep pushing Fletcher. Invest in your guys. Sky Blue's a tremendous talent. Don't have her being slammed into thumbtacks and barbed wire and breaking her leg on dives her first night back, right? Or like 2 weeks after she just came back from injury, someone dove on her and like broke her leg or whatever. Don't do that, okay? Just don't have her doing that. Just have her be with Fletcher and have him like treat her. Fletcher's dating Sky Blue, right? Yeah. So just have him like treating her like a pet almost, and just get nuclear heat on the guy. And we know she can kick ass, so it's not, you know, just do something like that. Bring it back to the old school a bit. Like, we don't need her doing suicide dives and taking bar. Well, she likes doing it. Okay, I get it. You know, there's UFC fighters who like just going out there and swinging to the hills too. There's baseball players who like just swinging for homers every time, you know, but sometimes when you're a little more calculated, you know, you tie Barry Bonds' record or whatever. It just happened recently, right? So that's all I'm saying, man. Just slow down a bit, hopefully. And Blue's great in the ring. I love her. Yes, continue to push her. Just her being more her. The spooky thing was just everyone was doing that. There was like a year there where everyone in WWE and NXT and AEW and TNA were, all the girls were getting spooky. It was like, Jesus Christ. Here's JD from NY and his old. Here's a contrast between JD and his old partner in crime there, Andrew Baydala, one of our fools. So JD says, I thought go-home shows were supposed to get you motivated to buy the pay-per-view. Outside of Swerve tonight, this show is a complete bore. Plus, complete breakdown of the Owen Hart Cup brackets live with Chi-Town Smark. Let's talk.
Off the air.
Here's Baydala. This is what Baydala had to say about the same show.
Off the air. I thought the show was very good. A lot of people complaining about, is this a pay-per-view, go home, everything else like that. I thought it did the job tonight. Off the air.
So there you go, man. No wonder these guys don't do a show together anymore. Someone posted the reason neckbeards like Japanese wrestling. Let's see.
マイカがまた重いものを背負ってしまうのかなとも思いつつ、
そんなお話の真っ只中。
嬉しそうな顔。
大変です。今日は大江さん、遠慮なくとにかく。
Joey Janela would fit right in. So Cody Rhodes, man, had to battle it out with some sickos. So unfortunate when this happened. So this Covalent TV says, I got booed in a company that I created. Cody Rhodes on Raw. And then this guy, Justin Enougha, says, Cody Rhodes, I'm begging you, stop taking all the credit for AEW existing, even if WWE asks you to say it. You know better and should cease minimizing everyone else's contributions. And then this guy's like, truth hurts, huh? And then Cody Rhodes pipes in and goes, I'm super proud of it. It was a great memory, and me and those men will always have that and the right to speak it aloud. The need to pretend otherwise hasn't helped anybody focus on you. I'll take that bet. Yeah, these sickos don't understand. Neckbeards. These sickos don't understand. Tony Khan was going to buy Ring of Honor or TNA or whatever. Do they not understand this yet? Like, they were, if it wasn't for Cody Rhodes and the Bucks and Kenny, Tony Khan would own, it would be Tony Khan nonstop action.
The best guy's Tony Khan.
It would be, he would only own Ring of Honor right now. Like, there wouldn't be like AEW. And okay. So people have to understand that. And I love Cody Rhodes going in there and being like, no. And even him calling out the Bucks a little bit when he was on Andrew Schultz's podcast. So Suit Williams, Suit, one of the biggest idiots on this platform, and posts like this keep proving the point. So here's Suit just trashing two guys that if these guys were fighting for the North American title right now, Suit would be like, oh, TNA fumbled Ethan Page, and, you know, he'd be one of these guys. if they were fighting right now for the AEW world title, he'd be putting it over. Two guys who made names in other companies that that chose AEW, and look at them now. That's what he'd be saying. But instead, he's saying two 35-year-olds setting up their semi-main event at noon in front of a hungover crowd on developmental Mania. This guy right here is a grifter. He doesn't believe this stuff. What he does is he sits there and just tries to think up of like witty, I'm going to bury the Fed. People freak out. I get $38.50 at the end of the month. Meanwhile, Commander 26 and Bandito will kick ass at Supercard of Honor in a month. He would never say this if Tony Khan didn't own ROH. Do you guys understand? If Tony Khan didn't own ROH, Sue Williams would never say, and this is why. Let me explain it to you guys. They saw what Will Washington did, all these people, and they see the kind of access that Tony Khan, and I've been told, what access? I know AEW superstars. No, I know, okay? Like, it's not like that you guys were revealing your secrets to and all this, but Tony Khan would text these money. He texts people, bro, some of
The
these
best
folks.
guys, Tony Khan.
And they think they can get jobs because they have seen other people who've worked their way into jobs. So that's the only reason Suit's saying this, dude. If Ring of Honor just survived the pandemic and was still just rolling, or if Ring of Honor was bought by WWE instead of AEW, he wouldn't be saying this. He wouldn't care about Commander or Bandito. That's the problem. And 26, 29, bro, the age of everyone in NXT is so low. Like, it's just such a cope. This is cope. Dumb, statistically speaking. No, what statistic did you lay down? Oh, they're both 35. Okay, so 35-year-olds have never been in NXT. So you weren't crying when Samoa Joe was 35 in NXT, or Shinsuke Nakamura was like 35 in NXT. You weren't crying about that. You weren't crying when Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, I believe, were in their 30s in NXT, if I'm not mistaken, right? Maybe late 20s, but I guarantee if I look up your tweets, you didn't have to say about that, right? So it's just keep the same energy, Suit. That's why you made the list, bro. You're a fool. So moving along here. Teal Rhodes pipes in. So Cody Rhodes' sister. This guy goes, Cody Rhodes, Christian but no cage, says Cody Rhodes vastly overrates how much of a hand he had in the creation of AEW. Teal Rhodes says these people are like flat earthers, or the people that think birds aren't real. Birds aren't real. Frogs are gay. And there's black helicopters surrounding the premises right now. It's a grand conspiracy. You know, that I've said this. I love when people like speak up and go, these people are like flat earthers. Go back to PWT episode 12. I'm saying it's always conspiracies with these folks. It's always conspiracies with Tony Khan and Dave Meltzer and these folks. And I just love that it gets brought up now so much, right? Like, I did a deep dive on the bots, right? Like, back in the day, I went on illegal sites and I was like, look, the numbers, like, I didn't show it on screen or anything, but I was like, look, the numbers for like, whatever, that's all old PWT we did. But I maintain that if the people who watch AEW illegally watched on Maxon, you'd have way over 1 million for sure. But until that happens, you know, Dave needs to shut up about all that again. But yeah, I like that the conspiracy thing is just sort of, people are like, why is it always conspiracies now? Yes, that's what I was saying. It's always conspiratorial. That's one thing that, again, because I was like not a rabid sicko though. I enjoyed WWE like the whole time where I was watching, where I was like, AEW's the best, and I like just had a Twitter account, and I wasn't even a sicko like to that degree, you know. And I was definitely more negative on WWE, right? Like dissecting it more early on, and before I ever had a PWT Twitter or anything like that, you know what I mean? Like, I was definitely critical of WWE, but I would always have it on. Like, I always watched everything, guys, you know? So that's the thing. For me, it's like, even when AEW's bad, I'm going to throw it on in the background. You guys know what I'm saying? I'm a sicko. I'm a wacko. I guess maybe more so than some, because even some of the deepest sickos don't even watch every goddamn week. But one of the things that woke me up to like, oh man, these people are coping and the fans are hurting AEW more than anything, was all the conspiracies, man, that would just come out about, like, even Tony Khan, when he's like, I noticed AEW Dynasty missing the N is trending. Yeah, because all the people are making typos. Like, people don't know how to spell, dude. They thought it was like a conspiracy. No, you guys got Dynasty trending by accident because someone doesn't know how to spell. And that happened recently again. and we covered it on the show where they got everybody got the wrong name of the AEW show, or maybe it was an ROH show. I can't remember which one it was, chat. Someone will refresh my memory. Someone brought it to the show and was like, oh, they got the wrong trending again. And it's happened multiple times. And instead, like, I remember Tony saying, we have to look into social media activity because there's things going on there. We covered it so long ago on the show. And it's like, no, man, people made a typo. Everybody ran with the typo, got the typo trending. And now you're trying to act like there's like a bot attack on AEW. No one cares. Like, no one would care enough to do that. And there's more bots that repeat the same plugging AEW than not, you know? So it's just funny to see Teal Rhodes be like, these people are like flat earthers and thinking birds aren't real. It's like, exactly. What's next? Oh, there's a serial killer on the loose. So, you know, people aren't going out to to watch the show tonight. But even though before the serial killer was a thing or whatever, you know, before everyone was scared of him, it only sold 1,000 tickets. But, you know, so again, we're not trying to kill a dead horse here, but DJ Vlad. So he got in the news recently for going at I'm going to check him a chat here in a second, but he was going at Booker T and Swerve, and DJ Vlad decides to go at Rosenberg. And again, this just shows how like DJ Vlad is just drumming up right now. I think he's looking at his YouTube numbers and he's sweating a bit, and people don't really care. People don't really like Vlad's interview style. He's kind of played out, I got to be honest. Even though I invite you, Vlad, to come if he needs any insight on any of this, you can come talk with me and Gary if you want to, you know. I would gladly speak with Vlad on the show or whatever but yeah, I think he's sweating because he's just like going all out, trying to like drum up beefs. And this is actually like, I'm no Rosenberg fan. Okay. And I've talked about it on this show. Like, yes, my videos get more views than Rosenberg on wrestling and some of the other stuff he does for sure. You know, but Rosenberg works in TV, but Vlad takes a shot at him. He says, for all the up and coming hip hop media outlets, look at Peter Rosenberg for what not to do. Same dead end, low paying radio job for 20 years, never got a promotion. Yeah, I mean, he gets paid, bro. That's why he's stayed there forever. And it's not dead end. Like, he works on TV, not just WWE. Like, he works all over in TV. This is just not a good take, bro. In fact, he got demoted when Ibou took the main position on Hot 97. Sometimes people take pay cuts and you do a job you love doing, and it's like, well, even my pay cut, I'm still making the money. This is still 6 figures. This is still 7 figures. You know, this is still around 6 figures. I'm going to keep doing this or whatever, right? Like, so again, Vlad, come on, dog. You spent the same amount of time doing the same formulaic interviews with people. It's getting trite. But anyways, he goes, spent 18 years uploading to his YouTube channel to only have 50K followers. Yeah, I mean, some people just aren't interesting on YouTube, bro. Most of the videos he drops gets less than 1K views. I mean, for 50K subs, that is pretty bad. But I mean, YouTube's probably just like an afterthought for him at this point, you know? Hated on every new media person who came in the game. Formed no relationships with any of us. Will ultimately retire broke and bitter. Just wild, man, to say about Rosenberg. Like, nah, dude, he works in TV and that. Vlad, you don't. That's the thing, bro. Vlad doesn't work in TV, so he doesn't know that, right? Like, everyone knows, and I'm not like a Rosenberg guy. You guys know when he was announced as the commentator for Evolve, I was like, you know, I was like, not him. And he actually does a good job on that show. But at first, I was like, ugh. But yeah, Rosenberg's like, oh, snap. Someone just sent this to me during commercial at First Take. Glad you're exploiting people on YouTube. Stuff is going well, man. Yeah, I don't know, bro. Even Adam22 just announced like no jumpers broke. They're like going out of business, or that won't be allowed. Like that whole like what Vlad and Adam22 do is just people just are over that, I think. Neckbeards again with Follow the Revolution. So Konosuke Takeshita, Swerve Strickland, Chris Statlander, Danny Garcia, Adam Page, Mariah May, Tony Storm, Darby Allin, Hologram, Ricochet, Athena. Should I continue, Josh? And so Josh Kennedy says the women's division is making stars. Tony hasn't made a single star in the company in 5 years. AEW marks are great, man. Don't ever change. And yeah, this guy goes, Konosuke Takeshita, not a star. Swerve Strickland. WWE blew him up, and maybe you could argue he's like elevated since going to AEW, but Swerve, you know? Chris Statlander. not a star. Danny Garcia, not a star even in the AEW fans' minds. Adam Page, not a star. Mariah May has been elevated from AEW, not a star, but will be when she goes to NXT one day. Tony Storm. Yeah, you mean that girl who, if she stayed in WWE, would be like in the main event picture now and everything still? Like she was just being propped up to be a main event player just in pro wrestling in general because she's great. That Tony Storm? Yeah. Yeah, bro. Okay. Darby Allin. I mean, I wouldn't say he's a star. People don't know who he is. Hologram, not a star at all. Ricochet, a WWE star, a guy more popular for he was doing in Japan than what he's doing now. Athena, definitely a WWE star. Definitely has been diminished since going to AEW Ring of Honor. So yeah, this FTR guy is literally delusional. Like lives in a complete and utter. Like I don't even believe him. Like I think this guy's lying. I swear.
Liar!
So AIR Gold goes, there are 7 black wrestlers. It's so funny too. People think he's from India, like an Indian. Because he's like, I'm Indian. That's what he told people. He's not Indian, guys. He's Indian like I'm Indian. That's what we call ourselves. I'm sorry, okay? Every Native American is like, I don't know, bro. I grew up in Canada. I grew up on reservations. We call ourselves Indians, and I don't get offended by that. Nobody I ever knew got offended by stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sorry if I offended you. Shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? I don't care. I'm Cree. I'm Mi'kmaq. But listen, that's what he meant when he told people I'm Indian. He's a Canadian native guy. Okay? That's what he is. So just so everybody knows and understands that, right? I hope Great Khali comes and chops this guy for for AIR Gold, for brain squeezes him, gives him the knuckle twister, you know? So, again, Suit Williams earlier, he's like, oh, you know, people kiss ass, and I bring to the Fed, and I bring Josh Barnett up as an example. Well, because he goes at some sickos, right? So this guy, Emerald Dracula Flosion, says, Fed influence really killing my hype for Bloodsport this year, but I gotta hand it to them. This one ain't it. Ain't gonna lie or something. I don't know. Josh Barnett goes, the Fed doesn't influence. They offer and or I request. I don't use everyone that is offered either, and I don't always get who I request. All bookings are my choices. So you guys talking to the War Master. Do you understand who this man has fought for real? What this man has done for pro wrestling and mixed martial arts in general? And you sickos are going to sit here and talk to
Stupid
fucking
idiot.
So Tony Khan confirms BJ's thing, but he doesn't confirm it. Tony just goes, well, that's we'll just listen to what he says. He's like, yeah, I mean, that's around what I heard. Okay, so he's not denying it. Him not denying it, then it makes it look good. Like, okay, I wouldn't deny if somebody came and was like, if I was Triple H even, and they're like 10 million people are watching on Netflix, I'd be like, oh, that's amazing. So Tony doesn't know the numbers according to him, according to Dave Meltzer, according to Conan. Meltzer told him.
Conan!
According to Conan on K100, okay? Meltzer told Conan that what BJ Bethel said in that 500,000 number is incorrect.
Conan!
So there you go. Keeping it 100 right now here on PWT. So I don't think it's legit. And even if it is, someone just prove it, please and thank you. And then I'll go, good for them. Really good for them. That's astounding. Amazing. I want, let's look at where the interest is being garnered here. That's absolutely incredible and good for them. And I would just attribute it to that I've been putting over. Well, they have been focusing on core guys, a lot of ex-WWE people. So, you know what I mean? If you want to see Lashley and Ricochet and Moxley and Jericho, I mean, those are guys that if they went to WWE, people would be like, oh, they're back in WWE. You know what I mean? If Lashley went back tomorrow, everyone would be like, that's awesome. He knew the Fed's the place, So I would just attribute it to that. But Tony doesn't go, it's confirmed. All Tony's ever said to anybody is that he doesn't actually know the numbers and he doesn't get told them. And same with Meltzer has corroborated that. And those are names we can put to the thing, unlike BJ Bethel, who just said a bunch of anyways.
Thanks, Tony. Rice with Women's Wrestling Talk is up next, followed by Jim Varsalone with the Miami Herald.
Bodes really well for us, and it's very exciting news and a great report for AEW and Warner Brothers Discovery, which is such a great relationship. In addition to being able to have our show.
Thanks, Tony. Courtney Rice with Women's Wrestling.
So yeah, he sort of here. Let's read what MJ says. How curious! Fightful Select has selectively edited their audio of the media call today to cut out Tony addressing the viewership question. Oh yeah, that was the point. There's a conspiracy afoot, a real conspiracy. No, but again, man, it's always projection, right? Play conspiratorial. Look at this. They edited out for some reason Tony addressing the viewership thing, because I just don't think it's true. I think anybody who's actually has a real source can confirm. So look, dude, the GOAT is back. Titan J. It's the Titan J era, folks. And he's here with Maxine Dupree. He photoshopped. He hasn't gone away. The sickos haven't run him off yet, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, and he's here with Maxine. Moving along here. Anthony D'Antoni de Blasi says, if you had children, would you ask a convicted SOer if that's okay that they are around him? Someone actually asked Chase and Rants this, and his response, you're good, by the way. The person who outed him was a concerned citizen, not a troll, jackass. And so if you guys want to hear the most in-depth coverage of the whole Booker T, Swerve, Vlad TV, Chase and Rant situation, myself and Grapple Vision, who's been covering, and you know, he makes documentary style videos. My good friend Gary Von Erich, he came on PWT podcast episode 91. It dropped yesterday, or like 12 a.m. I think we dropped it midnight, PWT. But go and check that out, or it'll be in clip form like this week coming up. You'll probably hear clips of it if you guys want to wait. But I implore you, go listen to the full thing, and then you can listen to the clip later, because some of it you're like, oh, you got to kind of, there's a lot to digest and take in, and some of it's tough. You're like, oh, to listen to. But yes, Gary Von Erich, Grapple Vision, he breaks this all down, and he makes great documentary style videos. He's been, you know, he got like Jason Rance's mother was under his videos arguing to Grapple Vision and with people under there in the comments, and like we cover all that. It's incredibly insightful, so you want to check that out. However, let's read this. So Chase and Rance says that gotta do all of my I's and cross all my T's. Gotta dot rather all of my I's and cross all of my T's. I am so busy and have a lot of work. Let something small slip through the cracks, and a troll taught me. What? I'm great though. Thank you everyone who reached out. Training resumes Monday. So this is because he got arrested on the 2nd for violating all of it. So on the 3rd, he's like, oh man, everybody, thanks for looking out for me. You know, training resumes Monday. I'll be celebrating my mom's birthday this weekend. And then Chasen says, also open house before our live event Saturday, April 12th, and admission is on me. Chasen then corrects. He says, troll got me, in case anyone was confused. Thank you again. And then this guy, Turbo, Man2 Gangster, says, hi, Chasen. I want to bring my family to one of your shows. Serious question. Are you allowed near children? I can leave her with her aunt if it's going to be a problem. Stay strong, friend. And then Chasen goes, you're good. Thank you.
You what?
Man, there's some real dangerous. Sometimes, man, this is what I say. Like, sometimes you see some people online, and especially in the IWC, and you go, these people are allowed to like drive cars, operate machinery, be responsible for other people's money, have children, teach, and so, you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy, bro. World's a wild, wild place, man. And I don't know if this guy with the epic butthead emoji, or rather picture, is trolling or not, but god damn it. Ugh, you know, you get the heebie-jeebies, man. So in a little bit of funnier, lighter stuff, okay? Here is El Mizmizimo, and he hits the CM Punk Cero Miedo. He makes like a soccer kick. I don't know what this is, but I put it in the Sicko segment because this guy's clearly a huge wrestling fan. He hits the Cero Miedo after scoring this goal, and then he does like the jerk off on everyone, like the whoa, you know, like the splooge toss motion. So I was like, it's gotta go in Sickos. Let's look. I don't know if this is like indoor soccer. I don't know what this is.
Pipe! ¡Que golazo!
So he hits a Cero Miedo. I mean, like, that's just awesome. But then he hits him with like the gadoosh. The gadoosh. So I threw it in the sickos at the end. Y'all see that? He hits him with the gadoosh. Oh my God, that's terrible. But that's hilarious. At the same time. Zero fears, right, my friend? So Pep's Wrestling, who's typically, I believe, like a huge AEW fan, goes, Tony Khan maybe is the worst booker alive. I'm the worst booker alive, right? If he was Lil Wayne, Lil Tony. And then, yeah, late bloomers. Everybody wakes up at some point. And some people, too, some people got mad because, listen, they didn't get mad, but I got DMs and some people were, sort of rebutting back because, like, JD's getting all this praise for going off. And all I said was, like, look, man, we can't like just blow JD and all the big platforms for pulling a Drake and seeing what all the the smaller platforms were doing and then running with it on their big, huge platforms. Like, guys, don't ever forget, JD blocked me. Now, I have no feud with him. I would have him on my show. I'd gladly go on his show. I think we'd have a laugh. I think it'd be a fun time. Even before, when I was blocked by him, I still maintain that. I don't on Samantha Irvin now because she blocked. I'm not a pussy, okay, guys? I don't care. I don't know how I made someone feel one day or whatever, but remember, man, Solomonster, all these guys blocked me, and then they unblock me when Solomonster hasn't, but JD unblocks me now when he's saying the same I said a year and a half ago, going on the same rants I started when you know what I mean? So, yes, I get praising the people who now have the biggest platforms, and I'm the one who defends JD and goes, look, everyone wakes up. And I think it's good he woke up, Everybody does wake up. But just the praise some people are getting for, like, it's like, man, calm down. These guys ran from these discussions. Now that I argued with all these sickos to the point where I try my best to just post and ghost. Now that me and Neckbeards had to and Awful and maybe Awful's not a good example because he legit just wants AEW to die. So, but for some of us, like, we had the arguments so y'all didn't have to. We raised these points, and now that it's safe, it's like people like Trump made it so now you can make like gay and trans jokes again, so everyone's doing it now again. Well, now it's safe. That's all I'm saying, right? It's easy now after the road was forged, but I'm also not, because there's people like Kev Castle who came before me who like said that made people maybe uncomfortable, and maybe people didn't agree with those opinions, but God damn it, he was standing on business and it got popular and stuff. But here's the thing with the Soup Boys and all them, right? They lend hands to those below them. You guys have no idea the type of people like Kev, Draper, Mish, Joe Numbers. These are really good human beings, just behind the scene. Agree with them or not on everything about wrestling, You don't see other people doing that. You don't see a lot of the, like, JD didn't do that. He blocked everyone out who was saying that. Now he agrees. Now where's the hand? Like, oh, hey, Phil, I did the same rant you did a year ago. Why don't you come on the show? Or why don't I come talk to you or something? There's none of that, right? Whereas like Soup Boys, they lend the hand and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I would say I would contrast that too and go, my criticism stands where I'm throwing it out of JD, but not on him at all. And I think it's important that he's now woken up. But the extreme he's gone to so fast, it's like, come on, bro. You still, like, it's so easy to be like, AEW, I hope it dies, when Awful Wrestling has like 14,000 followers. And it's like, well, look, there's 14,000 people who are like, yeah, AEW's that bad. That's pretty crazy. That's like Brendan Schaub has over 120,000 people in a subreddit that makes fun of him in his podcast. I don't even think he has that much subs on his actual channel. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that should tell you something, like the direction going in. But it's so easy now. Like, now it's safe to be like, year 6 of them, So I think we should be praising the soldiers who like really were like holding it down for a long time, or like maybe who were newer on the scene and were like, hey, this Meltzer, like, I'm getting blocked by Meltzer and JD. So what does that tell you? You know what I'm saying? Like, before any of this, and not even for being a piece of shit. I don't go out there and like troll and harass and call people gross names unless they start that. If someone goes like, you're a brainwashed bitch or something, it's just off with their head. I go nuclear on you and I don't relent, but that's just because like you're being gross first. Like, go look at me, have exchanges with anyone else where they're not like calling people brainwashed or WWE tricked you. That's where it's like, no, you need to be brought back to reality, So I get the ruthlessness on that end, like from some people, but yeah, like I wasn't under Meltzer being like, you dumb bitch, here's a flute, you idiot. Like I never did like that to Meltzer. You know, I didn't even roast him or go, he fears facts and stuff. He blocked me way before then. And it's because I told him, I just pointed out a flaw in his logic of thinking. He was saying that, of course, Ariel's going to shill for AEW or for WWE. He's friends with Nick Khan years ago. And I said, well, well, Dave, you're friends with the Young Bucks and Tony Khan and Hangman Adam Page. So, of course, you're going to, using your own logic, right? Blocked me. Boom. There you go. So, yeah, but again, this isn't a burial. This isn't the trial of JD, but I'm just saying what I got to say, brother. Speaking my truth, as the gals say these days, right, fellas? So Baydala says, why are we still doing the whole ratings viewership numbers again? So again, these stupid idiots, it's okay.
Stupid idiot.
If BJ and Tony and Dave want to run around the numbers, the key demo, it's all good. But Switchblade crunches numbers and all of a sudden it's like, why are we still doing this, right, guys? No, you goofball. Streaming numbers are the wild, wild west. It's insanely difficult to prove pinpoint actual viewership numbers, right? So then keep this same energy when Dave Meltzer posts lies. And don't say, oh, I'll get confirmation from who I talk to. I'll text Tony and see, man. Don't do that game, right? Yeah, so I just went off on the JD rant. This is what it is right here. So 13K, 168 likes. Again, it's not, I just said, look, he's saying this stuff because it's safe to say this stuff now. Now it's safe to say it. When I post a video that's like, and I'll still do it. You want to call me a grift? I posted a video that said Gail Kim returning to WWE, got like 400 views, and I'm still going to post them. You know why? Because I'm going to talk about and clip the stuff that I think should be showcased on my channel, that I think should be important. I don't clip sometimes I scrap out when I go, people, this might not connect. Or I go, I have to insert this if I think it'll connect. Even if it's a flop. That's how you know it ain't a grift. Okay? Period, point blank, period. Okay? It takes time for me to clip some out where where I know it's going to get 300 views, where it's about Gail Kim and AJ Francis. No offense. Right? But I still do it. Okay? So now if you're just like, well, let's just hate on AEW because people will sniff that out, bro. And I'm not saying that's what everyone's doing. Solomonster, I mean, he's fed up though. I'm going to give Solomonster credit. He blocked me a long time ago too. I think I did say one of his takes were trash, but that is what it is, right? And you're allowed to block whoever you want. This isn't like they blocked me, them type thing. It's not that at all. But I think a better person, and this person still has me blocked, by the way, to show as an example, to say like, look, here's where someone's really like, yeah, you're up if you can't impress this guy. I would say it's Solomonster. All right, so let's look at what Solomonster has to say about AEW currently. Tony, and this whole Moxley dynasty, Moxley retaining.
Khan and this company have completely lost the plot. Absolutely, completely just gone. Goodbye. They if they haven't learned
they lost it so long ago, Solomon.
By now, with this, they'll just never learn. You just keep repeating the same mistakes over and over again. If he's content to do that, that's fine.
Okay, so you repeat the same mistakes over and over and over again, right? So a year ago, I said they're going to repeat the same mistakes over and over and over again. And then 2 years ago on Twitter, 3 years ago, people, neckbeards, before I even had a PWT Twitter, was saying they're going to... You guys get what I'm saying? So it's real easy now to say this when it's like Moxley has literally clipped the balls off this thing and they are doing half the viewership they ever did, maybe even less, you know? Real easy to say that, and it's real easy when there's one of the worst storylines ever in Moxley and we're all fed up now. But the problem was that y'all defended and gate kept and blocked for a long time when people tried to point this out. But now it's okay when you guys woke up. Now it's okay when you guys are saying it, right? And we should all praise that. I don't know about any of that. And maybe I'm going off, and I'm sorry if you guys like these other guys. I'm not dissing them. Please still watch my show. Hopefully I don't hemorrhage subscribers or anything, but I keep it a bean here. Always have and always will. So
I do think it's offensive to your fans, though, honestly, to have a show that goes this late and give them a finish like that. that is such a slap in the face to the audience that it's almost inconceivable to me that this is the same company that has branded itself as being fan friendly, and Tony Khan, the ultimate fan himself, that I have to believe he does.
When have they been fan friendly, dude? They don't listen to the fans ever. Never have.
Does this intentionally because he wants there to be this kind of reaction.
And when they listen to the fans with the swerve thing, he still pushed it off until he could make it like, well, it was my idea. That's what Tony does. Athena, you get over on your own. Ring of Honor. You have to make Tony think it's his idea, or else he won't run with it, man. He doesn't care about fans. If he was a man of the fans, he wouldn't make people go to these big ass buildings where parking probably costs more money, or if the parking's free, you got to walk across this big ass parking lot to go into an empty, vapid building where the vibe is off. It's all dark and glib, and there's no energy in the room, and you got to buy $12 beers at these big stadiums for convenience for me. That's not fan friendly. When have they ever been fan friendly?
Wants people to talk about his company no matter what. All publicity is good publicity. If it gets people talking, if it gets people emotional about it, right, in his mind, it's a good thing. I genuinely, honestly,
and the guy just said, I stopped saying it for the last 2 years. You know, I stopped saying it because I said it so much already.
Genuinely don't see how this can be viewed in any way, shape, or form.
But I'm not hating on anyone for waking up later. What I'm criticizing was the gatekeepiness of it all in the beginning. For you to just then wake up and agree with Phil? What the, you know? Come on now. I was spitting back then too. Come on, dude. And I went off on this last Raw. That's the other thing too. I'm already pigeonholed. You look at any of these, like, you're going to see when we look at Tony Khan's, everyone's response to this Shibata Moxley match. Anyone who's like, oh, I can't wait for this match, I'm already pre-blocked. People I've never even seen in my life. And, you know, if they heard me ragging on Raw like I just did this last Raw on Monday, they'd use that and go, look, even Phil hates Raw now, but they won't even listen. They just want to be in a bubble. You just cannot challenge their thoughts. But then when they come to these epiphanies, then it's okay all of a sudden now. Now it's all good.
As any kind of positive for this company. I genuinely don't. They see this as a long-term story. By the time Jon Moxley maybe drops that championship in Texas, this story will have been dragged out for 9 months. Can you?
Yeah, but you, at least they did a story for 9 months, good, bad, or indifferent. At least Tony is not doing the normal thing that we're used to, like him just very. And again, too, what's the story? This is my problem. What's the story with Mox? He's just ripping through opponents. The story is what, though? That's my biggest problem here. So it's not that this has lasted so long as much as, like, it's lasted so long, and what's the storyline? Mox loses the belt, and then the Bumbleclot clan, they just break up and whatever. Okay, but, like, why? Why is he doing any of this? What's the, I need to bring AEW back to what it was. Well, you haven't at all, you know? And, like, what's the like, who are the characters? Oh, Darby was beefing them, and then he dipped out to climb a mountain. Then he's just going to come back and beat Mox. And it's just like, okay, that's awesome. But we should be telling stories here, man. We should be, like, having, you know, betrayal, anxiety, losses, but not just, like, in the ring, you know? We should have, like, seeds be planted, different characters, like, not just Edge coming in and then getting beat, and then now what? Edge is just done trying to save AEW. He's like, oh, we'll just fight for the trios belts. Well, I guess that, okay, maybe they're fighting the Death Riders, but then now it's just FTR, like, are beefing with Edge, and they don't care still that Moxley tried to kidnap them twice, and they don't care that Moxley murdered the Rock and Roll Express or whatever, and they don't care that Moxley's still invading the company, and now the Bucks are back. That's not more of a reason for people to unite. And I'm not saying, like, the whole company needs to go on halt. However, when you have this sort of invasion thing going on, you have to have, like, it's got to be us versus them, more than it's like, okay, we have all these understories than just over here Mox is, and all of this stuff is sort of confined, but people can get distracted from the bigger purpose, especially when the Bucks come back. That's when it's like everyone's got to unite. Where's Wardlow? We need all hands on deck now. We need to rid these guys, like AEW versus the Invaders, and like, but it doesn't even feel that way now. They're just like, oh yeah, you know, Moxley invaded, but now he's just in his own little storylines, and it's only who he's attacking at that time. You know, people have a problem with him, and people just forget. Like FTR just forget, and they're like lashing out on Edge for what? Like Moxley and them still kidnapped you, and you still haven't gotten your comeuppance. You know, like he still did all that to FTR, and they never redeemed themselves at all. They never won the tag belts. They never won the trios titles. They never definitively like put a stamp on Moxley in a way where like maybe they didn't get the world title off him, but they beat him in a blood and guts. And, you know, like FTR pinned him, but he still didn't lose the belt, but goddamn it, whatever, or something, you know, like they didn't come up with any way where like they just basically got beat, cucked out. Sorry, YouTube. So did Edge, and then they just move on with each other. So it's just like, yeah, the story, it's not even the story. It's just Mox comes in, his new gimmick for 9 months has been, I'm like a neo Yahtzee guy who's invading. And then that's been his gimmick for 9 months. But it's like, what is the story from point A to point B? I guess Moxley drops the title and we find out what's in the briefcase, or like he drops the belt and then what? Like Darby wins it, and then what does he do? We're bringing it back to old AEW again. Like, what is the end game here? Like, what's the story? What's the what sacrifice do the heroes have to make to take Moxley out? You know, like there's nothing there for me to go, here's where you got me hooked now. It's just like match to match. Oh, Swerve jumped off the balcony and stomped Moxley. Amazing. And then he came out dressed like Static Shock and said Booker T. So incredible, right? But Mox is still champ. But I mean, like, this story, man. What's the story? That the belt is lost? I don't get it, you know? I really don't get it. And that's the biggest part that really irks me. So we're spending a lot of time in sickos here. Let's fly. We're almost done, guys. I promise. So I screen grabbed this and went, this section of the IWC is cooked, bro. And like, man, people putting way too much into Grok. This is what drives me mad. Have you gone mad? It's like, dude, Grok just takes everyone's tweets and we're all a bunch of dumps, and then it just throws it into like a blender, blends it up, and then spits out like a ransom letter note, you know, a ransom note with magazine clippings of like ideas or whatever. But anyways, Gabriel Salazar says Grok agrees with JD. He has been spot on majority of the time. Dude, if Grok agrees with you, I don't know if that's a good thing. Grok also said the claim he made, which I made the comment under, has no evidence to back it up. And now these fools are arguing about what Grok thinks. It's a machine! What are you talking about? Jesus Christ. He goes, bro, you have time to delete this? Yeah, shout out the Deliverits for just encouraging people to delete this madness. And then Grok goes, based on recent examples, JD from NY is likely right about AEW 76% of the time. Oh, first he was over there. Now he's over here now. Oh, little boy blue. He needed the money. A gabagoo, right? Pokédex and Grok. Grok Dice Clay. Andrew Grok Clay. He nailed Soraya's exit and low attendance, under 3,000, but his claim of fake streaming numbers on Max lacks evidence. Many of his takes are opinion-based, making accuracy tricky to pin down, especially on April's Fool's Day. So, continuing along, this guy goes, Grok cooked you. And then Jersboy Sin says, Grok gave me 100% accuracy on my AEW comments, and he got a 67. Oh no, the future is cooked. The future, we're done. Send the asteroids, we're done.
Thank you, bye, boom.
Oh, we're done. We're so done. Oh my God, we're done. That Boy Truth says, this is just a lame LMAO. You really that butthurt? Goofy. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That Boy Truth certainly told the truth, man. Keo goes, I mean, Grok did just say he's more right than he is wrong, didn't he? And this guy, you're a weirdo. The guy with the name MW1188471, you're a weirdo. So funny, man. This is wrestling fans right here arguing about what Grok thinks about what JD thinks. We're fucked. Society's doomed. So Jason Solomon, who still has me blocked, goes, LMAO, this company, seriously come. And then Awful Wrestling goes, Jason has left the cookout chat. Anti-woke wrestling, which is one of these guys who's like, everything's woke, man. And then he just has all these cringe bad takes. And I'm checking in with chat. We're almost done sickos here, I promise. Anti-woke wrestle goes, Roxanne Perez and CM Punk are most definitely hooking up, man. If you've ever been, and listen to what this guy, this is what I mean too. These idiots always expose themselves, right? So he goes, if you've ever been in a relationship in your life, you know the signs, Illuminati, man. Oh my God. And it's like, no, if you've ever been in a relationship in your life, then you know that you're wrong, you crazy guy. He tags Becky Lynch, snitch tags her and goes, Becky Lynch, you should have stood on business. You've been around these secret societies and see how these WWE role models really, he didn't say secret societies. I added that part, man. Really behave behind the scenes, man. CM Punk is nothing but a predator on these woke young, he didn't say woke either. I'm adding that. Young ladies, man. Change my mind. The truth is out there. Listen, I get they ruined movies with like messaging and all that, and it's cringed. But to be anti-woke wrestling, it's like, calm the down, dude. But yeah, I don't even know. That was just funny. No comment on that, I guess. Puto Takagi says, this was my first AEW show in like 18 months. I'm pretty sure this guy has me blocked too. This Puto Takagi guy, in like 18 months. Between my ticket, tolls, gas, parking, and a soda, I probably spent close to $200, right? Now listen to what this guy has to say, because we talked about it live on the show. We're like, dude, the train stopped running. We looked it up. We looked it up in Philly. The last train was running. Fucking Swerve sitting there going, Booker T, while the trains aren't running anymore, right? So this guy here goes, I drove 90 minutes to get here, mostly flying, and now I got to drive another 90 minutes back at 12:30 a.m. I was very likely going to All In. I ain't buying now. And I'm just telling you, man, the fans wake up. This dude said the price is wrong, Tony. And I'm telling you, man, is this guy just an old, disingenuous podcaster, Brian? What am I, Dave? Or am I just an old, angry podcaster who didn't foresee the future? I'm telling you, bro, they've never been about the fans. They've never been about the fans. And when they put these tickets on sale, people are trained now to know, don't buy them right away. Buy them on the walk up, because then they're $3. But what does that do? It trains people to then not buy them at all, because then they forget. Out of sight, out of mind. Okay? So BJ Bethel, BJ, I barely know her. BJ, I barely know. I emptied the clip at the start of the show. But anyways, BJ Bethel's sources is a live Wrestling Observer radio chat on YouTube, which we covered, right? So F4W, like BJ's source basically was F4W in a chat going, it's more than, it's like 500,000 or whatever. At least that's the joke. That's what MJ from NJ threw out there. And then Follow the Revolution goes, and you put all of your energy into false attendance numbers at WrestleMania every year. You always say, I want AEW to succeed, but fill in the blank. You're the same ones who complain about AEW daily, so why get upset for something you don't care for? It's just embarrassing yourself. Sorry, now that's scumbag behavior. Funny how hypocrisy works. But it's funny how you are being hypocritical because you don't enjoy AEW And you are getting upset over something you don't care for by saying, and yet you put all your energy into false attendance numbers at WrestleMania every year. So again, this is the game all these sickos want to play. And this is what social media has done to people. It made think that like just project all the time because you're just gushing out all your feelings and thoughts and everything. You're just putting out every brain fart, that used to be put in diaries and put in bottles and sent to sea or whatever. You'd give it to a pigeon in George Capture's day. It'd fly across. No, top mod, top hot, buddy. I'm joking. So, you're complaining about WWE. So it's always like good for me, not for thee. The old saying of PWT, right? Again, it's always, I pointed it out earlier in the Sicko segment. It's okay to think this way when you think this way, but then if you think this way, the same way about another thing, or if you think this way about something I don't think this way about, then it's not okay to think that way, right? And it's so gooberish. You cannot live your life. That's why, like, I crack jokes at myself, fence sit and fill, because I try to give every perspective, man. You have to do that, right? If you're just being, and then I give my own take, whether people like it or not. And that's how you got to approach it. You can't live life expecting people to fold to think the way you want them to think or whatever. So this guy here spends all day blowing AEW, and that's okay. I don't understand why people think it's all right to just, like, here's the thing. Ebert and Roper used to give movies thumbs up. And so I don't know why people think it's okay for people to just put over. But then when they give you thumbs down, it's like, oh, Ebert and Roper. That's what everyone wants to do. They want to like get mad at the critic when the critic doesn't like their, but then when the critic goes 2 thumbs way up, spectacular, phenomenal, then they want to put that in the movie trailer. And it's the same with AEW. I can give you a direct example. Alfred Konuwa goes, NXT getting Hulk smash, Jason Love smashing that NXT ass from behind, right? Pretty much. Like he's just every week it's Dynamite destroying. Whoa, you what, Phil? No, but like destroying NXT, and Tony Khan's putting that in commercials for Dynamite, airing them during SmackDown. But then when Alfred Konuwa pulls the Fast Nationals and goes, damn, this show's falling off, here's why. Now everybody, they want to kick him off the site. They want to, now he's a shill, he's a phony. How dare he turn his back? That's why they're so mad at JD. Because he was, AEW's amazing. That's why Solomonster, they're going to go off on him. Because they were like in the cult, and unable themselves to see it another way. And then once you switch and say that they come after you, like literally Tony will come after you, you're pulled off the hog show. You're now Alfred Konuwa, you're kicked off the thing. You can't use our wrestler graphics anymore. You got to just type the names into Google now instead of, we're going to inconvenience you just because we did a bad rating and you got the Fast Nationals. And then we're going to try and discredit you and disparage you and say you're a fake and phony, even though you work for Forbes. For this magazine, at least for long enough to where, and you have and like, come on, man. People talk to Alfred. Come on, man. If you guys only knew. Yeah, I don't know. That was our very long Sicko segment. Psychoanalytical Sicko segment of the week, ladies and gentlemen. I'm checking.